I'm ready when you are.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the 70213 Lakers podcast, Vegas covering LA. I'm your host, Kyle Randolph, here with my bro, Isaiah Torres. Lakers are champions. Gonna keep saying that every episode. So, Isaiah and I are gonna update you guys. Our first topic is just training camp, updates, preseason, and things like that. So, Isaiah, kick us off with any news you got for training camp.
No, yeah, I mean, they announced this a few weeks back, but training camp was set to open December 1st, and here we are. We're in December, so yeah, I know you're gonna start seeing teams report back to their practice facilities, and here's the interesting thing. Usually, this is a big deal. The opening of training camp is media day. You see all the guys, gathered around, take their team photos. Usually premiere some new shoes or something. I'm interested to see how this one's going to turn out. I haven't seen anything. Actually, I've seen a few things here and there. Cassidy Hubbard, she on her Twitter page, she posted video of her talking to KD and talking to Luca, but it seems like it's just going to be virtual media, which is predictable, I guess, in this time that we're going through right now. But no, yeah, it's opening a training camp. Lakers are set to try to repeat with us, with a different team. And we got the preseason schedule right here. Things are coming up really quick, Kyle. First game is December 11th, 10 days from now. They got 2 games against the Clippers, the 11th and the 13th, and then 2 games against the Phoenix Suns on the 16th and the 18th. And as we know, opening day, I believe, is the 22nd. So things are moving really rapidly, which is like we talked about a few episodes back, where this is pretty fast. I do see why the players were kind of hoping to at least get one more month of rest, especially between the draft and free agency. And now, if they would have started in January, I think that would have made more sense. But the NBA trying to collect as much money as possible after all the billions or dollars they lost last season from the virus.
Yeah, it sucks because I say let them rest more. That was my opinion on it. I get they want to schedule, and it's like if they shorten the season by even more, they're gonna have like fluky standings and stuff. But for the players to rest more, the off season was so short, especially for the Heat and the Lakers. So it's like I say start in January, make the season even less games. But like you said, they lost money last season pretty bad. And all kinds of things happened. I'm sure they tried their best to sort it out, but man, some of those players just don't get a lot of rest. The ones that didn't make the bubble.
Yeah, I feel bad for the rookies. I'm sure most of them are really young, obviously, and they kind of have this attitude of, like, they don't care. Like, we've been waiting so long to play some basketball that we're ready to get started. But honestly, the typical rookie usually gets drafted in June, gets to go through the summer league, and has time to prepare for their rookie season. This is, you just got drafted last week or 2 weeks ago now, and boom, you're off to the races. It's going to be interesting to see how they adjust to that. With only 4 preseason games. But yeah, there's no other way to put it. It's just really quick, really rapid, and we're gonna see how this season goes. We gotta. It's gonna be weird though because they're gonna do it without a bubble, and I don't know if we're gonna get to that later or right now or not, but it's gonna be interesting to see how the season plays out.
We could get into that now, actually. I was about to say the last update about the training camp and stuff. This is just a player update. I'm a huge fan of Zion. He is not going to be limited at all. So he is limited towards the end of the bubble. So Zion Williamson is not limited in training camp, and for preseason he should play a solid amount of minutes. So that's going to be exciting for me.
I wanna correct something. So the Lakers on their schedule, they have 4 scheduled preseason games. Every single team will play a minimum, at least a minimum of 2 preseason games, and a maximum of 4. So some teams, some rookies, they might only get to play 2 preseason games before
Wow.
the beginning of the season. I think it varies on how virus plays out. Who tests positive and whatnot. And that's what we're going to get into right now. Is uh, they're going to play without being in a bubble. And we've seen how that worked for other leagues. I mean, the NFL is really struggling with it right now. And college football has had its fair share of up and downs. I believe MLB, there was times in the MLB season where it looked pretty ugly, but they were able to pull it off. Um, I don't know. It's tough, man, because I think NBA proves that not just the NBA, but the TBT, the basketball tournament, who were the first professional basketball sports league to come back. They played their tournament back in July before the NBA season restarted. They proved that a bubble could work. It's successful. I mean, I've heard rumors about certain people getting positive tests in the NBA bubble, but there was never no names. There was never I guess proof of it. But as far as we know, there's never been any positive tests in the NBA bubble, and it seems like that's successful. While you see the MLB, they're struggling, NFL struggling, college football struggling,
Almost the
college
best way
bat.
to go with it.
I think bubble is the
But
best way,
they're
but
not going to do it.
it's
I
tough.
say they'll make it work. The NFL, the MLB, they had major problems, but they made it work, and that's what they're going to do. They're
I'll,
a business. They really want these games to happen, so they'll find a way. Even if an outbreak occurs, they'll find a way.
I'll read this comment. This quote here. Cassie Hubbard, she interviewed new 76ers head coach Doc Rivers on his concerns about not playing in a bubble. He said, "I'm very concerned if we can pull this off. Just watching football, college, Ohio State missed some games. Pittsburgh and Baltimore can't even play a game. The difference in football is they play once a week and they have about 1,000 players or so. So when you miss 3 or 4 players, you can still get away with it. If we talking about NBA, if we miss 3 or 4 players, we're in trouble, especially with the amount of games we're playing, 3 or 4 days a week." And then he finished it off with saying, "So if one of our guys and 2 of our key guys gets the virus and they miss 10 days to 14 days, that can be 8 games. That can knock us out of the playoffs. So that's a concern." Um, which is very true. I mean, basketball is different. You don't have a 50-man roster in basketball. You have what, like 15 maybe, and
Yeah.
it's a whole different. It's
Ooh,
just different dynamic.
it's going to be
I,
something. The MLB pulled it off, though, and they play even more. So if no, their season was shortened to even less games than the NBA has actually.
yeah, MLB only played in
How
60.
about that? And they do have bigger rosters as well. So yeah,
Yeah,
they.
that was my argument. That was my argument with football and baseball was that they are allowed to have huge rosters. And basketball is different.
Yeah, wow, that's crazy. They're gonna have to be grabbing a bunch of G League players. I don't know what else they could really do.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because
It's
like,
going to be
as
interesting
much
to
as
see.
I hate it, since there's no bubble, as cautious as the players are, it's someone's gonna catch it, and it's sad, but someone will. So, guess we're gonna be seeing a lot of G League players or the most random free agents getting picked up.
I don't know. It's going to be an interesting season. But there's definitely concerns. We'll that's just my thoughts on that so far. Obviously everything's a huge question mark right now, but I mean, here we go. I guess new season starting up really soon.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. So, gonna get right into the Lakers now. So Dennis Schroder said he intends to start at point guard. That story broke 2 days ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I analyzed a lineup last week.
Yeah.
And I'm never full of myself in sports. But there's no way he starts. It just will not work out. It is not worth it. And I have a ton of reasons for it. But the biggest reason is it is better if he plays off the bench because when LeBron's off the floor, you need a ball handler, somebody to run the offense, somebody to ISO, somebody to shoot, and he can do literally all those. So here's my thing, too. It's not even just he's better off the bench because they lost Rondo. It's he's better off the bench because he's the lineup. He's better off the bench. I don't know how else to word it because you already have LeBron and AD. So if LeBron gets doubled, he give it to AD. And Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Wesley Matthews, Marc Gasol. A big reason is don't fix what's not broke.
Yeah.
I said this lineup with Wes Matthews, AD, LeBron, Marc Gasol, and KCP, it is very similar to what they had before. Matthews is literally Danny Green copy-paste, like on paper. And they even play the same role too, same minutes, same three-point percentage, catch and shoot, not really good at ISO, which isn't their role. So my point is, don't fix what's not broke. But it's not even just that, because I know Vogel will adjust. He wants to try things out. But the productivity, it's not even just like the defense, because Dennis Schroder is not a great defender. So it's not even just defense, which a lot of people would say, don't start Schroder because of defense. My opinion on it is it's just not worth it. You have LeBron, AD. What do you get if you add Dennis Schroder to that starting lineup? LeBron's still going to be the primary ball handler, most likely. Like, when Mario Chalmers was the point guard in Miami, LeBron was still the one that was given the ball. Hell, he even took the inbound up the court the majority of the time, too, from what I remember. So LeBron's still going to be having the ball a lot. What does he have adding Dennis Schroder? When you add AD to LeBron, you have a beast in the paint, somebody that even has a deadly mid-range, someone to kick it out to occasionally. Dennis Schroder is a ball handler, great at finishing layups, and a solid three-point shooter. So if LeBron's going to have the ball more than him, because even if Dennis Schroder is the prime point guard, the ball's going to be in LeBron's hands. LeBron and AD are going to score most of the points. If LeBron's double team, he can kick it to AD anyways. That's not a problem. He'll have a 38% shooter in Dennis Schroder, like to kick it out to from three. KCP already shot 38% last year. So you're taking away Dennis Schroder, his ability to have the ball in his hands and run the whole offense. You're taking away his ability if you start him because, LeBron's going to do that. You're taking away that ability for a 38% three-point shooter, which they already would have had with KCP in the lineup I stated, that they're already used to, so they're comfortable playing that lineup. And the bench is going to suffer because you're going to have Alex Caruso probably playing point guard. Am I missing? Did they sign anybody for that role?
No, I think you're all set there.
Is the investment worth it? You start Dennis Schroder. You have an additional scorer, and it will help. He will help LeBron. LeBron, not even if he gets doubled. If LeBron's getting defended, pass it to Dennis, another ISO player. That's great. But Alex Caruso will be at point guard. That will not be so great. But if you have LeBron and AD start, you get KCP to start, who's another 38% three-point shooter, as I've said, and Schroeder's off the bench. You're not missing much for what you're benefiting off the bench. You're benefiting a whole guy that can run the offense, who's smart and can score when the bench needs him to score. He's not really needed to score in that starting lineup. The investment's not worth it. You start him, your bench suffers horribly, in my opinion. You don't start him, your starting lineup is the same way as it was last year when it won to the finals, and your bench is a hell of a lot better. Sorry I interrupted you. You got anything to say about that, Isaiah?
No. Yeah, I think last week we touched on it, and I really liked what you said, and I agreed with you about having Schroeder come off the bench. I wouldn't be surprised if we see them playing with the lineup a little bit in those preseason games. Maybe
Yeah.
they'll see what it looks like with Schroeder starting, because I think technically, well, I don't know if that's true, but he was like the first big splash of the guy who we wanted to get, and so because we traded for him, but I agree with you that I would like to see him come off the bench more, but I definitely wouldn't be surprised if we're gonna see those games where he's starting, because injuries always play a factor,
Especially
So
with the COVID and no bubble, it'll happen. But
yeah, but no, I totally agree with you. I think him coming off the bench is a lot better. Um, yeah, but hey, we'll I like with everything, we'll have to see how things play out. But no,
I'm glad you agree
I
with
really
me.
don't
Some
have anything
people
to
be calling me
disagree with.
crazy.
Some people are calling you crazy. Is that what you said?
Yeah, some people call me crazy, disagreeing, saying Schroeder should start. You need more scoring. I'm like, no, you don't. I'm like,
I personally believe Wesley Matthews is a better scorer than him.
yeah, and
But
LeBron likes shooters as well. So KCP and Wesley Matthews are both 3-point catch and shoot shooters, and he has
mhm,
AD if the catch and shoot isn't working, if they're cold. Like there's no reason to start Schroeder. It doesn't benefit them.
yeah, I agree with you.
So with that lineup as well, it's like your defense will be fine on the starting lineup. Marcus Gasol can be just as productive.
Yeah, he's
Then
defensive player of the year. You know,
Then you got AD's defense. Then you got Braun's defense. KCP and Wesley Matthews are solid defenders.
they are. Yeah.
So that too, that's another reason to not change the lineup. LeBron at point guard did so well. He had the most assists. He recorded the career high assists per game of his career, and he still had 25.2 points per game, I believe it was. So
Sounds right.
I know Vogel likes adjusting, and like adjustments are necessary in the NBA when people figure it out.
Yeah.
The most they lost in a playoff series was 2 games, and they had the best record in the league. Nobody figured it out. There's no need to adjust that drastically. So there's just no reason for Dennis Schroder to start. I respect how prideful he is and how much he wants to start, but there's just no way it can happen. I don't see that happening.
I 100% agree with you. And then when we were talking about the potential standings, or I don't know if you have it in front of you. I did see it a little bit earlier, some projected standings from ESPN. Where was it at?
I know it was the Lakers and Bucks were number 1.
Yeah, I remember some of the main guys at the top, but I don't remember who like I remember it was Lakers Clippers like 1 and 2. And then I know the Bucks were at 1 again. I might have to find it. But yeah, I mean I'm pretty happy with those predictions. I mean, Lakers are defending champs, and it's gonna be interesting to see though, because it's not like we have the same exact team. You know what I mean? So
yeah, so it's still going to be different.
Yeah, but I think it's funny because a lot of people are talking about the West standings. There's a lot more talk about that, like as far as who they predicted was gonna go. Like I think a lot of people were upset that they snubbed the Blazers out of the 8 teams.
They did. I remember that, and I gotta disagree with that. They're just so good. Dame, CJ, everybody's heard it. I know I'm just naming their players, but Dame's been improving. Even though last year they struggled, it's because they had injuries, which people forget about. Zach Collins was hurt for a lot of the year. Dame got hurt even in the playoffs. I know they were missing somebody else for like the whole entire season as well.
Yeah, they definitely had to deal with a handful of injuries. This is bugging me, man. I gotta find it.
Yeah, you're good. But I could just keep talking about how I think it'll roll. So I know they had the Raptors at second in that conference.
Here we go. Okay, sorry about that.
You got it.
That's why I was looking at the wrong Twitter page. Okay, yeah. So we'll talk about the Eastern Conference first.
Awesome.
Just laying it down. Bucks at 1. Raptors at 2, Heat at 3, 76ers at 4, Celtics at 5, Nets at 6, Pacers 7, and the Hawks at 8.
Whew.
Um, so
all right, I'm gonna say mine just straight up. We'll debate reasonings if we have to. Bucks, because Drew Holiday's underrated. Giannis is great. They did it last year. All I'm gonna say.
Yeah, they gave him some shooters. They gave him some shooters too.
Oh yeah, they did. Raptors are just such a well-ran organization, so I can't bet against them. I have them.
They re-signed Fred VanVleet. That was a big re-sign for them.
Yeah, that was huge. Three is close, but I'm liking the Heat here.
Yeah, me too.
They are only going to have more time to gel with each other. They did lose a couple people though, and from what I remember, they didn't really gain.
They lost Jay Crowder, and they lost Derrick Jones Jr. But they re-signed Dragic, and they added Avery Bradley.
Avery Bradley, that was huge. So I think that makes up. Jay Crowder is so good, so I don't know if it fully makes up for it. Mm-hmm. But I say the team having another year together because they were so young is going to make up for what they lost. You know, the Tyler Hero is going to fit in the system even more. They're at 3. 4, I got the Celtics.
Okay.
5, Sixers. I don't think the Sixers are above the Celtics. They did get rid of the Al Horford deal, though.
Jared Al Horford.
So that was huge.
Let's see. I don't remember if they added who they added, but yeah, I think I agree with you. I got the Celtics over them.
So I've seen a reoccurring theme though with the Sixers, which is why I have the Celtics over them. And Embiid is a beast when he is on. Even though people say he's soft sometimes, this and that, he's a beast when he's on. Near MVP for a bit of the beginning of last year. But Ben Simmons and Embiid just don't improve enough for me, man. I don't think Simmons improved at all statistically last year. So Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum are constantly improving, showing they're elite. And Ben Simmons and Joel are elite players, talent-wise, but they're just not improving. And I know last year wasn't their fault with Horford, but I just can't put him up there simply because of that. And after that, I say it's a toss-up. I put Brooklyn at 6 for sure.
So I was actually shocked to see ESPN have Brooklyn be down at 6. Is that because they're not sure how it's going to gel, or what? Kyrie and KD and LeVert?
I think it'll take some time to adjust mainly. I can put them above the Sixers. That's the only debatable spot, but I'm not putting them any higher than that, actually. Okay. That's why they're such elite talents. They're such a good team, too. It's just, I think there's going to be a gelling issue. And even though he's KD, so if he's like half the man he was, he'll still be good.
Yeah.
We don't know how he is, so I feel unsafe putting them so really high up this list is all. Just because of that. And another thing, even though a lot of people, since they're so good, professional basketball players are so good, people don't really think about it, but rust is a thing, man. He hasn't played basketball in a while. And Kyrie's been hurt a lot, too. So that's why I have them there.
That makes sense. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, that's right. Yeah, 7.
I have the Pacers. They were great last year, too. They finished 4th. Not great, but, they were pretty underrated.
Yeah.
And 8th, I have the Blazers. But I heard the playoffs is expanded. So I'm really liking the Hawks team. They are going to be good.
They
got expanded, right? 9 teams, right?
I think it's 10. I think they're going to kind of do like that play-in thing again.
All right, 9. I got to say the Hawks. They're going to be good. They got a lot this offseason. They were productive. They got...
But who'd you have at 8, though?
I had the Blazers. Pacers at 7.
But you were talking about East Coast right now.
Oh, my bad. Yeah, my bad. I'm an idiot. I don't know why I put them there. My brain wasn't processing. So I put the Wizards at 8, actually. I don't know why I didn't even mention them in 9th. I ain't working right now. If John Wall doesn't leave, I got to say that. Because the hype behind this new John Wall, they're saying, like, Bradley Beal say he's better than he's been before, and I know there's trade rumors, stuff like that. And it's like, I know you're going to throw the KD argument at me, say like what you said he won't be good because he hasn't played in a while, so you put him low. But I did put the Wizards low at 8th.
Yeah.
And it's just because there's such a leap. I think they're just too good. I know the Nets. I didn't put them back terribly low, but I just don't know who else could finish above the Wizards. That's all it is. It's not that I think they're great. Then we got the Hawks. I don't know why I thought about the Blazers. That was terrible. My brain ain't working.
That's why.
But then I got the Hawks there. They've made some great moves.
I'll tell you what, dude. I don't remember the last time seeing John Wall and Bill be on the court together. Like it feels like that was like 5 years ago the last time they played together. But like I don't really because one was hurt and the other one was hurt and they both were. It's they've been having some struggling years over there in Washington. That's kind of one of the reasons why I didn't want Onyeka to get drafted by Washington because they've had some bad luck recently. But I'm glad he got picked up by the Hawks, which we're talking about right now. Added Rondo, added Gallinari. Let's see.
How's your standings looking, by the way?
How what?
How are your standings looking, by the way? Who do you got?
Well, I mean, honestly, I can't really argue with this. I agree with you with Celtics being over the Sixers. They didn't really do anything for me that I could think of. And then let's see. I'm honestly very surprised. I feel like there's too much talent on Brooklyn's squad. So I maybe put them over the Sixers as well. There's too much talent, man. KD, Kyrie, Karis LeVert, Spencer Dinwiddie, who I'm still a big fan of, but he constantly gets overshadowed for some reason, which doesn't make sense. But he was the best player on the team when D'Lo was there, but D'Lo got the All-Star nod. That was a season where Dinwiddie got hurt though, and that's why. But no, he's constantly getting overlooked, and now when he's with two other like All-Star caliber players and Irving and Durant, like he's definitely going to be overlooked. And then after the bubble, the way that played out, I'm sure people have LeVert over him too, as like the list of who's the most talented players on their team. But no, I think they got too much talent on that squad. But yeah, I mean, we'll see how that plays out. I mean, the East is really tough, man. I think I've before.
Yeah, now for the West. This one should be faster. I don't think I'll have to explain myself for many of my picks.
I'll tell you. So go ahead and run down the West.
All right, yeah, I got Lakers 1, Clippers 2, just talent. 3, I got the Nuggets. I know ESPN said the Rockets, which I find really surprising. I know their lineup improved with DeMarcus Cousins, but
I find that very surprising as well.
They didn't beat the Nuggets last year, and I know it's not last year, it's different, but I feel like their problems are going to affect them. Like, Westbrook and Harden both wanted to leave, and they couldn't because of deals right now. He can't go to the Nets. Like, there's no way the cap for it to work out. Like, let me know if you viewers find anything. I was doing the trade simulator. There's like no way their caps can be organized to work it out. But I feel like that's going to impact them. They're going to play a little worse because they didn't even want to be there. Eric Gordon was upset. Daniel House was upset. So I got the Rockets as the 4th seed, though. Nuggets at 3rd. I got the Jazz. Actually, no. I'm going to go Mavericks at 5th, not the Jazz. I like what they're doing. Luka's going to improve, so they're going to.
So right now you got Lakers, Clippers, Nuggets. What was that? Who do you have it for?
Rockets.
Okay.
And Mavs.
Gotcha.
Yeah, Luka's only going to improve. Move 2 places up from last year, which was he was only 1 game short. It's just there's so many ties last year. So got Dallas at 5. 6, I'm going to go with the Jazz. Donovan Mitchell. He's improved every year. I'm really into young players that improve.
Yeah.
Mike Conley, oh, man, he did not stand. I've been arguing he's underrated, but then he did not do well on the Jazz. But it'll be all right for them. 6 is safe for them. So 7th, I got the Blazers.
Okay.
Because of what I said earlier, they're just a well-ran organization. Dame's a great leader. 8th, I'm gonna go with the Suns, and 9, I'm gonna go with the Pelicans. If I need a 10th, it's tough. I don't want to pull the upset and say the Warriors because they don't got Clay, but as long as Steph Curry plays, even then, when Curry was playing, they didn't do so well. But if I don't know in this conference, I'm gonna just say Popovich and the Spurs, just because he's Greg Popovich.
That's what I was gonna say. I think I'd rather feel safer picking the Spurs over the Warriors in that one. You know what I mean? But yeah, I gotta agree. Lakers top, Clippers 2. Clippers might be even dropped down to 3 because I remember that at the end of the regular season, the Clippers almost dropped down to the 3rd seed.
They did.
And now we're talking about a team that lost Montrezl Harrell. You're talking about a team that lost who was one of the bigger losses for them. They lost a few other smaller guys. I think JaMychal Green. They traded Landry Shamet. So it's a different squad, but I think the loss of Montrezl Harrell is big, right? I think it puts the gap. It puts an even further gap between the Lakers and the Clippers. So yeah, I mean, I'll keep the Clippers there at 2, I guess, because it's tough for me to count out, Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. And then let's see. I kind of want to put. That's tough, man. I think I'm gonna go on a limb. I'm gonna put the Nuggets at 3 as well, because the way JaMychal Murray played at the end of that season made me respect him a lot more. He's gonna make even more climb. Jokic, there's times where he's really skillful. I'm like, dang, this guy's playing amazing. And then there's other times where he looks like just very slow and lousy out there. So, but
all right.
I'm gonna say, but they got too much talent on that team, right? Like Will Barton, Gary Harris, Michael Porter Jr. They end up signing Bull to a regular contract, not doing a 2-way contract anymore. So now he's strictly on the Nuggets, not on the G League team as well. So I'm guessing that's a sign for more minutes for him. I could only think that. Let's see. I'm gonna put the Jazz at 4 though, because as much as I love Luka, and who's gonna be MVP pretty soon, I think he needs more pieces around him. Kristaps Porzingis, it's tough to see when he's gonna be healthy. I love Trey Burke ever since he was at Michigan. If he could keep improving, that would be awesome for them. Tim Hardaway Jr., same with him. But I think the Jazz are a better team overall. Donovan Mitchell, that dude's steadily improving even more too, to the point where he might be up there with one of the top dudes in the league pretty soon in a few years. Rudy Gobert, really good player as well. He has his moments where he can be really dominant, and then other times where he might falter as well.
Always a good defender though. So
great defender. Joe Ingles, who at first I used to not like, but I gotta like the dude. He's just one of those dudes who plays hard. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Knock down 3-pointer, play good defense. Royce O'Neal, who was really unknown until this season or something. Mike Conley Jr., give him another year to gel with that squad. I just why I'm gonna go with the Jazz over the Mavericks in that one. But yeah, I can see the Mavericks going maybe. Okay, so I'm gonna go Lakers, Clippers, Nuggets, Jazz at 4. I'm gonna go Rockets at 5. Because there's a lot of uncertainty there. But at the end of the day, you still got Harden, you still got Westbrook, and I don't know how he's gonna look, but now you got Cousins there. I'm gonna go Mavericks at 6 because Luka's just the beast, right?
Yeah.
And then at 7, I guess we'll go. No. 6, I'm gonna go Portland.
Ooh, okay.
Portland. I got more faith in Portland because they got more firepower. You can never count out Lillard, CJ McCollum. Hopefully, Zach Collins got hurt at the end of that run. Hopefully, he's able to play by the time they start, but we'll see. Nurkic, he's back. He can play. They got to work on their defense, right? And I think the same could be said about Dallas. That's why I kind of have them like this. But I'll put Portland over Dallas. So I'll go Portland at 6, Dallas at 7. At 8, This is what we're talking about like several weeks now, leading up to Chris Paul getting traded by Phoenix. I don't really. The West is so stacked. I don't know if I really have him at 8. I gotta have. If before Clay got hurt, I would have put Warriors somewhere in there, right? But I just don't know about that anymore. I'm gonna go Spurs at 8, Suns at 9, and then I'll go just because Lonzo's my guy and Zion hopefully could be a beast too in year 2. We'll go with the Pelicans at 10, I guess maybe.
I like that. It makes sense. They've again only room for improvement with that team.
Yeah, but we'll see though. It's gonna be interesting. But yeah, those are my predictions. But like we said, man, at the beginning of the show, it's right around the corner. Training camp started today, and Lakers' first preseason game is 10 days from now on the 11th. So
yeah, excited for it. So everybody, thank you for watching. You got your news right here on the training camp preseason. Season's already coming. Lakers 2020 champs. See you next week.